Good afternoon and welcome to the Public Safety Committee. I am Mark Conway, Chair of the committee, representative of the 4th District. My colleagues are either running late or not coming, so we're just going to jump right into it. Today's hearing is on LO 25-0006, Legislative Oversight, Baltimore City Fire Department, and Emergency Medical Services Operations and Oversight. There's no secret that the city has had a recent spat of fires, and I know the department has worked tirelessly and fearlessly to combat those fires. These quarterly hearings are about ensuring that the department is equipped to respond to similar incidents as well as requiring that emergency medical response. So look forward to diving into it. It's been a little bit since we had a last one. And with that, I will turn it over to Chief Wallace.
Thank you, Chairman Conway. Good afternoon. I'm Chief James Wallace from the Baltimore City Fire Department. And as I usually do, I have many of the members of my leadership team with me here today. We're going to actually present a little bit differently than what we have historically. I'm going to take the first half, and then once we reach EMS, I'll transition over to Chief Matz. So you can advance. One more. So for operations and really on behalf of apparatus, it's no secret that we've had over the past couple of years a desire to modernize our fleet, and we continue to do so. I'm very proud of what the apparatus coordinator's office has done, as well as our logistics section, but we still struggle with regard to delivery times on all of our apparatus, whether it's a battalion chief's vehicle up to a ladder truck, a pumper. But pictured here are some of our recent deliveries. You'll notice that this apparatus, we're transitioning back to the historical BCFD orange and white. But currently, FY25 to the present, we have been fortunate enough to take delivery of 6 engines, 2 ladder trucks, and amazingly 34 medic units. That 34 number is a result of just that backlog that was kind of that choke that got released all at once, and we began to receive medic units at a fast pace. So, real happy with where we are with EMS as far as the transport vehicles and the fire suppression element of the fire department. It's improving, but again, as we'll show in a few minutes, we still have a significant delay on these bigger pieces of apparatus.
Chief Wallace?
Yes, sir.
I just want to, you said that really fast. We're changing the color of our apparatus so that my tie won't work anymore. I got to get an orange tie is what you're telling me. All right, I'll make sure I get a really good orange tie.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah, and there's, I believe this week, actually 2 more medic units, 2 new ones will hit the street. They too are orange and white, so yeah, we're continuing that progression. Upcoming this year, we expect 9 engines, 4 ladder trucks, 2 elevated platform units, 6 more medic units, and what we call a pod unit. We're actually going to adjust a little bit our special operations way of operating. We are actually going to buy a truck, and then we're going to use what are called pods, our sea container type storage containers that are going to be discipline specific. So there's potentially going to be one for hazmat, one for technical rescue. And what that does is it cuts down on vehicles. We actually take all the equipment, we place them in pods, and then when the incident occurs, they'll load a pod up on a truck similar to a rollback, and that vehicle will become the response vehicle. The other thing I'll note is 4 of the 9 engines and 1 or 2 of the trucks in the upcoming year were actually expected to be delivered in the month of November this year. Vendors have pushed that back, so that's just an example. That's all been pushed back from November to April of next year. So that's one of the struggles that we have. Next slide. Another success story for us recently has been the expenditure of ARPA funds. As you know, the mayor and his administration awarded us a significant amount of ARPA money, and we invested that heavily into infrastructure. So several of the firehouses that either have had completed projects or those that are well underway are shown here. A lot of that has been gender-neutral bathrooms, as well as some kitchen work, climate control, HVAC in some of the firehouses. And then we have some on the list, Engine 21, Engine 53. Those projects are just now beginning the demolition phase. Another thing that I'm really, really proud of is our SCBA modernization. So we had been using, our breathing apparatus was under a 2007 NFPA standard. It was purchased in 2013. So identified in talks with Mayor Scott were was our need really to upgrade our SCBA, which we've been able to do. I'll point out that we're currently compliant with the current standard. The newest standard is expected to be released sometime either by the end of this year, more likely the first part of next year. And at the point at which that release occurs, we were actually able to work something out with our supplier where they're going to take back what we currently use and they will reissue us SCBA that is current with the standard at the point at which it comes out. I can't overstate the importance of that. These standards run 5 to 6 years, so our department can now look, 5 to 6 years into the future, and we can know that we're going to be compliant with what's termed at that time as the current standard. And then we've also invested a lot in fire hose replacement. Key to that has been everybody sees a fire hose, they think it's white. That's not the case anymore. We have all different color hose. So a safety mechanism we've put in place are different colored hoses on the apparatus. If someone were to become disoriented inside of a structure fire, we would deploy a crew to follow the blue line in, the red line in, and that should lead us right to either a downed or a trapped or disoriented firefighter. So that's been a huge advancement for this department and one that we're very proud of. And then finally, the forcible entry tools. We've historically had rapid intervention capability on all of our ladder trucks. This year, we invested in that same capability across all of our suppression units. So no longer do we need to have ladder trucks on a scene in order to rescue a downed firefighter. We've significantly upgraded our rapid intervention team capability. And then with the SPP fund, upgrades that we've undertaken. Many of the firehouses are just in dire need of a lot of replacement. So what we're attempting to do is with the funds that we do have, whether it's ARPA or capital improvement, we're attempting to touch as many firehouses as we possibly can. Next slide. This is just a quick kind of refresher for you, a breakdown of the number of fire stations as well as apparatus that we have spread around citywide. These apparatus and personnel all fall under the daily direction of a respective deputy chief, 4 different shifts. 4 different deputies have oversight of fire department operations on a day-to-day basis. Again, there's a breakdown. What we really want to illustrate here is really the top line there. The average suppression unit responses are about 473 a day. So what you see in the breakout underneath, Sunday to Saturday, are the activities that our personnel undertake in addition to those 473, on average calls a day. And I'll draw your attention especially to Saturdays, where we go citywide with our safety sweeps, and we'll actually have some numbers for you pursuant to that in just a minute. Big partnership that we have in place, and I really got to give a shout out to the Red Cross for their continued partnership in our smoke alarm program. They actually just executed a neighborhood sweep this past weekend in conjunction with BG&E, but essentially the sound alarm events are really focus on not only the smoke alarms themselves, but escape plans, home safety plans. It's one thing, I think, to have a smoke alarm inside a home, but it's extraordinarily important for residents to understand at least 2 means of evacuation from their residence. The need to have that. Reunification points outside of their homes. And a lot of things people just don't think about. We focus on smoke alarms, that's fine, but what do we do when it goes off? What if we can't get out the front doors? So we really try to drill down on that. Every Saturday of the month, they do a big sweep in conjunction with the Red Cross. And then quarterly, there's larger events that occur. We're quoting some data there from a September 19th sweep where there was a significant amount of detector installs, but also a big number for inspections, right? We don't just show up, hey, are you okay? If you don't need one, we move on. We don't do that. So we will, if asked, we will actually inspect the detectors, make sure they're functional, they're located in the right place, and then if need be, we'll give additional advice. And then finally, we do this with multilingual handouts as well. This slide shows this past weekend's initiative between the Red Cross and BG&E. This was under the direction of Chief Ruff. And again, 87 homes were visited. I think Councilwoman Porter was along with them. So, they really hit this area hard. And although the number is installed does appear to be kind of low, 18 is an important number, one's an important number. But that, again, high number of those smoke alarms that were inspected, and then also a significant number of what we call total homes made safe, being 30. And this is just a picture of some of our people in action, actually doing inspections. So this is where we begin to drill down on data. So the numbers that we're showing in this slide are the total inspections for FY24. So we exceeded 57,000 inspections there with over 2,000 Codex properties identified. Over 3,500 of these addresses we actually found were vacant. And towards the bottom, a really important number, close to 7,500 smoke alarms installed. That's in 2024. If we advance to the next slide, in 2025, you show pretty much improvement across the board. That number's gone up to over 59,000 total inspections. Again, a high number of vacants, excess of 3,100. The placards themselves have come down somewhat. I believe because of two reasons. One, some homes have been reoccupied, but also we're beginning to now kind of overlap onto some of the work that we've done prior. And then again, 45,000 smoke alarms installed is just a huge number. And then some of the other data that's below there, alarms inspected, and then we also are on the lookout for and we report unsecured addresses. And then the next slide here shows you the trajectory that we're on. We're up over 20,000 total inspections that have occurred just in Q1 of this year. So we're really, I think we're on a pace to this year even exceed last year's numbers. We're still seeing Code X's, 223. New addresses I would rate as kind of high for a first quarter, but again, this is only Q1, and then the subsequent numbers below it show in many cases consistency, and a couple cases actually we're exceeding.
Testing. There we go. We're back. Go for it.
So this next slide shows target enforcement zones where we have specific and in some cases targeted activity there, but we also monitor these areas very closely. So what's shown here is an obvious increase in structure fires in these TES zones. Year over year, FY24 to FY25, we can definitely see an increase in 3 of the 5 targeted enforcement zones. Generally speaking, these numbers are running in the 30s year over year. But yeah, certainly an increase last year in structure fires in these specific areas. And then we're kind of trending in that same direction in Q1 of this year over Q1 of last year. The only real measurable difference down is in TES Zone 5 with a little more of a concern in TES Zone 3 with that trend upward.
Quick question,
Yes, sir.
Chief. How are the zones, we don't have a map to sort of orient me here. How does this break down across the city?
Zone-wise?
Yeah, the zones. Do the 5 zones make up the whole city, or are they smaller, concentrated zones within the city?
They're concentrated zones within the city. So as an example, TES 5 is over in the Johns Hopkins Hospital area.
Okay.
It's one of our bigger zones.
Okay.
TES 4 is on the opposite side of the city, which is over the southwest side, encompasses a good bit of Carrollton Ridge, and then kind of on out towards the Wilkins and Brunswick area, Frederick Avenue area. And then there's, I don't know the numbers right off the top of my head, but there's one that kind of runs up Reisterstown Road, Park Heights. There's one in the Pennsylvania Avenue North area.
We don't have a map. Was that in the original?
We can certainly give you one.
Sure, yeah, it'd be helpful. And these target enforcement zones are where we suspect or anticipate fires are more likely to happen, is I guess how we think about it?
We know, given some of the variables, that there's a higher likelihood, but we don't just concentrate on fires there. We look at EMS call volume in there.
Okay.
We look at overdoses in there. We will look at 311 squatter data in there. These are areas that we really focus on specifically.
Got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So our vacant and codex initiative, again, this map shows a significant amount of work that's been done by our personnel. You can look at data as of June 30th of 24, and then data of June 30th of 20.